So trippy. It's so cool to just be able to like do all sorts of new things. Hey, what's up everybody? Today we are diving into the future of drumming. Now, this future of drumming isn't necessarily going to be the entire landscape of drumming, but it is absolutely a new pathway, a new creative outlet, a new way to make drumming even more interesting and even more melodic and layered and deep. That is Sensory Percussion by Sunhouse and Evans here. So Sunhouse originally came out with this product, and Evans has bought it and rebranded it, and now it is the Sensory Percussion. I believe it's the second generation from Sunhouse, but now it is the Evans hybrid setup, and this can go on like all sorts of drum setups. So this isn't like, oh, it has to be very specific drum heads, or it has to be it's triggers that pick up the waves, the patterns, the sound from the drums you have here, and then are processed by a drum brain module and then a program. So it's a whole bunch of different pieces. You can get the whole setup here with the Evans Hybrid Sensory Percussion sound system. It comes with the brain. It comes with 3 triggers, so you could do like a kick, snare, floor tom, or snare, kick, rack tom, and then you can also add on triggers from there. Right now the main package is available. I think the add-on triggers are coming soon, but for this setup today, I have 6 triggers, and the brain over here can take up to 7, and so I could have one more drum. You can also, it functions as like a full interface, so you can add in outside sources of audio through mics, and these are mic line setups here for A and B, and then on the back you have other line ins, you have aux outs, you have ADAT out, you have MIDI. This thing is like a full-fledged interface, and it can do a whole lot. It can connect directly to your computer and be used through your digital audio workstation. It powers this program here where it uses the triggers to change the sounds. I mean, this whole thing, it's a lot. There's a whole bunch that you can do with it. We're going to have some fun with it today. I am using the Evans DB1 drum heads. So these are the new low volume drum heads. And what's cool about them is that they still have tone, but they are much more reduced volume. And so with these package of triggers, you can put them on acoustic drum heads. This down here is an EMAD, as I didn't have the right size for this 20-inch kick drum. But they work in various scenarios. You don't have to buy new heads for them. They will work with the heads that you have, but if you want that lower volume setup, the DB1 or the DB0 heads from Evans work, as well as other mesh heads from other manufacturers. But all of that said, let's see what this can do, because it's really crazy what this package promises for the drums and for your ability to create new sounds, because these triggers pick up different areas of the drum head. So you could play on the center, you can play on the outside, you can play on the rim, you can set up even more complex playing zones than that to add sounds and layers and tons of effects. I mean, tonal squash, tonal delay, tonal disto, tonal mods, tonal reverb, tonal compression, drum squash, drum delay, drum distro, like all this stuff is accessible right here. You could spend hours and hours and hours tweaking every single little thing. But for today, we're gonna have a little fun, and I'm gonna show you what the drums of the future sound like. So let's check it out. So you got a rim click on the side. But it it knows whether you're hitting it with the shoulder or with the tip of the stick. To me, that's really impressive. That like, I got a clap or I've got a little tap. All right, so first little sounds we got there. Let's move over. This one's called Melodic Future. All right, so you can actually trigger your sounds over on this. See what you got. That's cool. So trippy. It's so cool to just be able to like do all sorts of new things. The interesting thing about this is just like how much time you can spend crafting and changing and adding. So this is just like almost like a standard kit. It's called the Bebop kit. So this is where like this setup, the sensory percussion setup, changes your acoustic kit into a melodic machine, a electronic drum set, being able to change, like say your kit doesn't sound that great, but then you put these triggers on here and all of a sudden you've got great sounding drums for less than buying a whole electronic kit or buying a nice acoustic kit. Like there's a whole lot of options all in this one package. It feels like, I mean, one of the things it feels like is just endless possibilities, really. It's hard to even fathom the different things that you can do with this setup. You could combine it with a real drum set, an acoustic kit, and go gig and have melodic options and have different pads and different samples and be able to change everything on the fly to all these different options at your disposal. I mean, it really makes like performing as a drummer become something that's like you could almost like play a club by yourself with melodic options and like the drum set options, and it's just there's a lot here. so there is a little bit of a demo of the Sensory Percussion Evans Hybrid Bundle with Sunhouse, and it is like it's groundbreaking. You know, like I mean, there's no other way to put it besides the fact that it advances the options that a drummer has. You know, before it was acoustic drums or electronic drums, and then you start bringing in sample pads, and now it takes the drum set that you have and it changes it into something completely different, with a whole new level of experience, a whole new level of options, a whole new level of places you can go. It's certainly not going to be something that every single drummer in the world is going to be using out on every single stage, but it is something that can allow you as a drummer to take new steps in new directions and to define new sounds and new options for yourself. And I tell people this all the time, that the key to a new level of success is to be unique, is to be yourself, is to be different, is to do things that other people are not doing. So the people that take something like this and really run into the future with it and do it well are going to be the ones that are opening new doors for themselves, that are expanding the audience, that are creating content and creating music and creating uniqueness, that are not bound by the standard forms of the standard rules of drumming. All of a sudden, your dynamic controls different parameters of your sound. Your placement of your notes changes different parameters of your sound. The speed of your notes changes different parameters of the sound. That is what this software allows you to do. You can go in and you can change dynamic control to change the pitch, or dynamic control to change the volume. You can have the location of the notes across the spectrum of the drum change the sound that you produce. You can also go in and have the actual speed of the notes change, different variances, different effects, different tones, timbres. Like it's hard to even describe in a single video what all this software and these triggers and this package can do as a drum experience. It's hard to put it any other way than like an experience, or a universe, or a world of sounds that you are unlocking with this Sensory Percussion setup. And the cool thing about it is they built the brain in a way that it can expand a lot more than your base level. So like, sure, a lot of people who get this setup aren't really going to need more than 2 or 3 triggers, because you're not going to do your whole kit in this setup all the time. It may just be a few sounds off to the side, or in your live rig, or in your studio rig where you're creating something new. But the fact that you can have up to 7 standard triggers with the new Sunhouse, like the Sensory Percussion 2 setup, is really great. Plus the other aux ins and out. You have so many options for the way that you send the signal in and the way you send the signal out. You've got ADAT, you've got the USB direct into the computer, so you are able to connect that way and pick up sounds from the triggers. This isn't like a niche situation where you don't have options to explore. This is a situation where you can take what you have in front of you and go a lot of different directions with it. You can do just a snare drum. You can do a snare drum and a kick and a tom. You can do a kick drum. You can trigger just toms. You can use it to add sounds to an already great sounding kit, because you can trigger added samples. You can trigger added melodic samples that go behind the drums that you are playing with. That is what this allows you to do to a new extent. And I mean, it's something you can mess with for hours and hours. And one thing that I talk about, and I recently actually talked about this with some middle school students, but when you are experiencing burnout, when you are kind of tired or you're in the same rut, it's good to try something new and to try something different. And so this could take you from the same old drumming that you have been doing for years now into a new, just absolute universe world of sounds and options that force you to get out of your comfort zone, that force you to try something new, that force you to experience new ideas and concepts, which in turn build technique. You noticed when I was playing, like there were times where I'm playing new patterns in order to trigger certain melodic notes, and snare notes or kick notes that are in different formations and variations than I would typically play the drums. Same thing with the bebop kit where the hi-hat's over on the floor tom. All of a sudden I'm playing the more open-handed style, but I've got the right hand over here, and it forces you to do new things and try new things. And that really is something spectacular about inventions like this, about products like this. They take you to new places, they open new doors, and they inspire. And I really do think that, you know, the future of drumming is in this kind of lane. Now, like I said before, no, I don't think every drummer out there is going to be playing on this setup live, or every drummer is going to use this on every album. But I do truly believe that there is a future of electronic music and sounds. Like a lot of the music that you listen to on the radio is now mostly programmed drums or electronic drums. And so this right here is a way for drummers to get back into that music with new forms of intricacies, new forms of melodic and sound capabilities that can make you new, that can make you progressive, that can make you inspiring and innovative and create something really awesome. And I think Evans and Sensory Percussion Sunhouse have just knocked it out of the park with this setup here. And I'm excited to see what all you guys do with it and where you take it. So you can click the link in the description. You can go check it out at Sweetwater. They have it available now. And yeah, happy drumming.